Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Stavakaya Dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Avatara Varishtaya Ramakrishna Te Namah. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityor ma mritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us bow down to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God incarnate. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. We have been discussing since 2 classes the topic Vedanta, the light of knowledge. It's only by bringing the light the darkness can be dispelled. It's very important to bring the light. So in the same way, in order to overcome ignorance, you must aspire for knowledge. Knowledge is awakening to the reality, awakening to the truth. So once you become aware of the reality, once you realize the truth, then you are perpetually in peace and bliss. When a person realizes the absolute truth, it is not a state of nothingness. On the other hand, it is a state of experiencing the real, permanent, everlasting, eternal peace and joy. Once you have reached that highest state, then you never like to come down to the lower levels. On the other hand, you would love to be always in that highest state of joy. Because everyone is aspiring for joy. If a person is joyful, he doesn't want to get away from that experience. That is true in case of our own ordinary experiences, then how much more it is true when it comes to the experience of transcendental state. If we see Swami Vivekananda's life, there is a glaring incident. Swami Vivekananda, the purest of the pure, personification of purity and perfection, he could immensely experience that highest bliss of absolute truth. He never wanted to come down from that highest state. Many times he would even express that he would love to spend time in meditation in one of the caves in Himalayas. He aspired for it. He aspired intensely for it. In fact, he expressed the desire to Sri Ramakrishna that he would love to be in Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Nirvikalpa Samadhi is a state when once a person reaches that state, he would never like to come back to this earthly existence at all. When Swamiji expressed this desire to get himself totally absorbed in that highest state of bliss, Sri Ramakrishna said, "No, I know you are capable of remaining in that state forever, but you have come here with a special purpose. You have come here to give awakening to the people who are ignorance. You have come here to light the lamp of knowledge. Nobody else can do that. And you have been assigned that special mission. And once you accomplish that, then definitely you can be in that perpetual state of joy. So till then I hold the key with me. So for the sake of humanity, you have to come down forcefully even to help the humanity. Otherwise there is no scope for the people who are suffering in darkness. At least those who are aspiring to get over suffering, we must be helpful to them. And that is the way how Sri Ramakrishna expressed his love and compassion for the whole humanity. You could see the full bloom of love and compassion in Sri Ramakrishna. The same thing Swami Vivekananda manifested in his personality also. He was full of love and compassion for the whole humanity, for the whole universe. He loved everyone. How much trouble he took to train the American disciples at the Thousand Island Park, and how he took classes for them and taught them the highest philosophy of Vedanta, and how Swamiji could see those disciples who were very earnest to experience that knowledge. Swamiji could see how their mind was rising and rising and rising. And Swamiji finally thought, well, if I continue my teaching in this manner, all these people may last in that highest experience and they may not love to come back to this world at all. But then he forcefully stopped. He just gave them the idea how you get more and more happiness, the more and more you rise in your mental level. So, religion depends on how you handle your mind. That's all. So everything is in the mind. Bondage as well as freedom. You are bound to be in bondage as long as you are in darkness of ignorance. You must be liberated when the lamp of knowledge is lighted. So, mind's play is very crucial, and it has very important role in the life of everyone. So, the more you give care and attention to the mind, the better for your upliftment. So whether to rise or fall lies in your own hands. The more you discipline the mind, the more you can rise to the higher levels. So discipline is the core of religion. Discipline is power. Discipline leads to the realization of the truth. It is discipline that gives you real peace and real joy. But people are not able to know the importance of the mind. They have not given sufficient attention to train the mind. But they have applied the mind in a wrong way and used the mind in a wrong way. So instead of getting into real happiness, they are getting into real suffering. Even if the person says, I am happy, he is not happy from the spiritual point of view. He simply tells he is happy. His happiness is only on the superficial level. The real happiness you can get only when you experience Vedanta, the truth of Vedanta. When you experience the knowledge, then you really enjoy peace and happiness. Well, whatever reasons are there, people are suffering on account of their running after the mind and its senses. That means running after one after other desires. And they cannot fulfill the desires and they get frustrated and more suffering, more unhappiness. In that process what happens? They keep on coming back and forth into this world and keep on trying to squeeze the world to get happiness. But in that process what has happened? Mind has become totally uncontrollable and it has led to all sorts of mental problems, and many times we feel people are in total helplessness. They go to psychiatrists, they go to psychologists, they are not happy. But then the psychologists and psychiatrists try to do something because they have studied the mind, but their knowledge of the mind is extremely simple. No doubt they give little solution, they give little hope, but they also know their limitation and they say, we can't do anything further. So, it is not possible for any psychiatrist or psychologist to rectify the mind totally. You have to deal with the mind in a different way. So, when you enter the Vedanta, you must necessarily know how to organize and discipline your mind. So instead of trying to list the inexhaustible contents of the mind, try to understand the nature of the mind with which you identify yourselves. Or rather, the nature of identification itself. So what are we in reality and what are we not? The scriptures adopt the negative approach. To get at the heart of reality, we discard its coatings one after another. the external coatings, that we are not our material possessions is fairly obvious. Even when we lose them, we do not cease to be. Our relatives also, however close and near, are not we. They may disappear or die, but we survive. Our senses too are not truly we, because even without ears or eyes, we continue to be. The body itself is only a possession. As we testify by using the genitive case, my body. When you say my body, I am dwelling in this body, it means the mind also is apart from us. We say my mind is depressed, or we say today my mind is very happy. So the intellect likewise belongs to the same category. Sometimes it functions bright, while at other times it is dim or totally inert. All the while, we continue. Thus, logically, step by step, we can project one upadhi or adjunct after another as not constituting the reality that is I. What remains after all these limiting attributes are discarded is the real I. It is not possible to define it in words because it is beyond the ken of words and even thought. There is a famous Upanishadic quotation, Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. So, it is beyond mind and speech. But you must know it is not nihil. When all the adjuncts are removed, we are not left with a vacuum. On the contrary, when all negativity has been sheared off, pure positivity, untainted by imperfection, persists. The scriptures call it Satchidananda. It is existence, knowledge, bliss, absolute. These are not three separate attributes of our essence. Call it soul, spirit, or Atman. The term does not matter, but the fact remains. What we find ourselves to be is a unitary entity whose nature itself is being, consciousness and joy unparalleled. Touching that rock bottom reality, deep down within us, all problems stand solved. Once you reach that highest state, there remains no problems. Vedanta tells us that all our troubles are due to superimposing on the basic reality a variety of ghostly masks. If the serpent frightens us in the rope, it is certainly not the rope's mistake. It is futile to ask how the rope became a serpent or how the serpent can be driven away. The only way is awake and arise. No solution is possible for the serpentine problem in the dark and the semi-dark. But when light dawns, It is not just the serpent that vanishes, but the whole problem. When we know what we really are, the problems of existence are but droll after dinner stories. The problems certainly have validity in the state of ignorance, but when the ignorance subsides, their relevance also ceases. A little thinking will show that Satchidananda can only be one. It cannot be a multiplicity. That means all existence is one. There is only one reality. Call it Atman, call it Brahman, call by any name. In fact, knowledge is not complete. Understanding is not perfect till the awareness of the apparent difference between the Atman and Brahman vanishes like a line drawn on water. All thinking, all feeling, all doing can ultimately only be for realizing that we are the Atman, non-different from Brahman. When the alone merges in the alone, there is nothing further to be said. Mukha svadanavat. It is like a dumb man enjoying a sweet. It is ineffable bliss. There are several systems of philosophy. Of them all, Advaita Vedanta is a crown. All dual systems find their proper place in it. It subsumes them and transcends them. It is a one philosophy that can withstand the onslaught of reason. It is a ground, sanction and fulfillment of reason. Reasoning by itself is lame. It is born of experience and culminates in trans-rational experience, which is Advaita, non-dual. It deals with the ultimates. The plural is used as we are in the dualistic level. The ultimate is absolute and single. Brahman, the jivas, and the world are the ultimates we are confronted with. Their mutual relation and ultimacy are the topics the philosopher is concerned about. Of these, for the present, the jiva, the embodied being, is the focal point, for it is he who philosophizes. The world can be divided into two: the seeing object and the seen object. The objects are numerous and fleeting. The subject is always present and singular. I cannot conceive of a time when I was not, or when I will not be, even to conceive of either I must be, capital I. So I am always. I am beyond time. I has no real plural. Other pronouns do have plurals, but I, the capital I, has none. When we say we, it is not I plus I, but I plus thou or he. When you say we, that which transcends time must be absolute. So, I in my real essence is eternal and absolute. Now what about the seen? An effect must have a cause. The word effect must have come from a cause transcending the world. The changing phenomena must have an unchanging substratum. The unchanging world, transcending entity, must be absolute. The reality behind the seer and that behind the seen are absolute. There cannot be two absolutes, for they will limit each other and thereby cease to be absolute. Then how are they related? Again, to take from the Upanishads, Tattvamasi, that thou art, says the Upanishads. Aham Brahmasmi, I am that absolute, affirms the man of realization. We start the quest accepting the realization of the rishis as a hypothesis. Then through reason we affirm their declaration, and through contemplation experience the truth. The realization of the rishis is the ground, reason is our guide, and immediate direct experience is the proof positive of this philosophy of non-dualism. How can the world out of the absolute, how it came, how the world came from the absolute? That's an important question. The absolute, ever being non-composite, no world order can emanate from it, yet we do experience the world. How to explain that? It is due to Maya, the inscrutable power of Brahman. What is Maya? That elusive power by which the contingent world appears and disappears. Its cosmic form is time and individual form is mind. Time projects space for its operation, and the two together beget causation. The constituents of the mind are time, space, and causation. In the waking and dreaming states, mind operates and phenomena appear. In deep sleep, the mind is dormant and duality is absent. Mind and time are the twin appearances of Maya. When the mind is transcended or suppressed, time disappears. Maya has two powers, the veiling power and the projecting power. It conceals reality and projects multiplicity. Veiling alone is harmless. It is a projection that creates problems. In deep sleep, reality is veiled. In dream and waking, the world order is projected. In the dark, if one doesn't see the rope lying in the way, nothing happens. But if the idea of a snake is projected on the rope, serious consequences follow. Go beyond mind through spiritual disciplines, and Maya disappears. There, truth alone remains. The sun shines in its own glory without any veil of cloud. It is the truth of this non-dual reality that Acharya Shankar propounds through his commentaries on the Upanishads, the Brahma Sutras and the Gita. It is a very bold system based on revelation, based on reason, based on realization. Sri Shankara has widened our outlook of the world and deepened the insight of the spirit. It's only through this Vedantic approach, it's only through the awakening to the reality, it's only through that experience one can totally dispel the darkness of ignorance. Otherwise, the darkness always remains. As long as the darkness remains, you are bound to be influenced by ignorance. When you are influenced by ignorance, you are bound to be suffering. So all these are connected. So awakening is very important. That's why Swami Vivekananda gave a clarion call. How the message of Vedanta was broadcasted all over the world. He has put a nice phrase. Uttishtata jagrata prapyavaran nibodhata. Arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. Arise and awake to the reality. Aspire for knowledge. You are no more a sinner. You are not to suffer. Your real nature is divinity. You are pure, immortal, free from bondage. Chidananda Rupaha, Shivoham, Shivoham. I am the embodiment of knowledge, pure and perfect. So when you realize that reality, then really you are in the light of knowledge and you shine in all glory. So that concludes my topic, Vedanta, the light of knowledge. Next Tuesday I will take up another topic to discuss. Page 635. That which is Brahman is Shakti, and that again is the mother. He it is, says Ram Prasad, that I approach as mother. But must I give away the secret here in the marketplace? From the hints I have given, O mind, guess what that being is. Ram Prasad implies that he has known the truth of Brahman. He addresses Brahman as mother. In another song, Ram Prasad expresses the same idea thus: knowing the secret that Kali is one with the highest Brahman, I have discarded once for all both dharma and adharma. Adharma means unrighteous actions, actions forbidden by religion. Dharma means the pious actions prescribed by religion, as for instance charity to the poor, feeding the Brahmins, and so on. Vijay asked a question: what remains if one renounces both dharma and adharma? Sri Ramakrishna answered: pure love of God. I prayed to the Divine Mother, O Mother, here, take thy dharma, here, take thy adharma, and give me pure love for thee. Here, take thy virtue, here, take thy vice, and give me pure love for thee. Here, take thy knowledge, here, take thy ignorance, and give me pure love for thee. You see, I didn't ask even for knowledge or public recognition. When one renounces both dharma and adharma, there remains only pure love of God, love that is stainless, motiveless, and that one feels only for the sake of love. A Brahma devotee asked a question: is God different from his Shakti? Master said, after attaining perfect knowledge, one realizes that they are not different. They are the same, like the gem and its brilliance. Thinking of the gem, one cannot but think of its brilliance. Again, they are like milk and its whiteness. Thinking of the one, you must also think of the other. But you cannot realize this non-duality before the attainment of perfect knowledge. Attaining perfect knowledge, one goes into samadhi beyond the 24 cosmic principles. Therefore, the principle of I doesn't exist in that stage. A man cannot describe in words what he feels in samadhi. Coming down, he can give just a hint about it. I come down 100 cubits as it were when I say Om after samadhi. Brahman is beyond the injunctions of the Vedas and cannot be described. There neither I nor you exists. As long as a man is conscious of I and you, and as long as he feels that it is he who prays or meditates, so long will he feel that God is listening to his prayer and that God is a person. Then he must say, O God, thou art the master and I am thy servant. Thou art the whole and I am a part of thee. Thou art the mother and I am thy child. At that time there exists a feeling of difference. I am one and thou art another. It is God himself who makes us feel this difference, and on account of this difference one sees man and woman, light and darkness, and so on. As long as one is aware of this difference, one must accept Shakti, the personal God. It is God who has put I consciousness in us. You may reason 1,000 times, still this I doesn't disappear. As long as I consciousness exists, God reveals himself to us as a person. Therefore, as long as a man is conscious of I and of differentiation, he cannot speak of the attributeless Brahman and must accept Brahman with attributes. This Brahman with attributes has been declared in the Vedas, the Puranas and the Tantra to be Kali, the primal energy. We shall stop here. Any question? So, you must aspire for knowledge to get into that state of bliss. And you must have bhakti in order to taste that bliss. Tasting. So, bhakti and jnana, they are inseparable. So, Vedanta is the way to go beyond the mind. Vedanta is the way. So one has to have different approach. One has to be practical and follow the disciplines with all seriousness. Time is running away. So before the time passes away, we must be able to achieve the goal. At least we must struggle towards seeing God, towards experiencing truth. That's all. Anything Mitresh has to say? Vedanta means knowledge. Knowledge. Knowledge means not the knowledge which we ordinarily think of. We ordinarily think knowledge means secular knowledge, science and technology. No. The knowledge which our scriptures emphasize is the spiritual knowledge. The spiritual knowledge. It's only through spiritual knowledge you can realize your spiritual identity. Only when you realize your spiritual identity, then you are no more under the influence of Maya. So all this secular knowledge, whatever we are able to see through our senses, It's inferior knowledge, aparavidya. That is, you can say, false knowledge. But the spiritual knowledge is the real knowledge, the true knowledge, which is called paravidya, the supreme knowledge. Knowledge which gives you permanent happiness. So, Vedanta always tells you to turn towards true knowledge of the self. True knowledge of the self. Don't get lost identifying yourself with mind and senses and the world. That's all. Anything else? We shall stop. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean, and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust raging furiously within. O name stream down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self, drown deep in the waves of His bliss, tasting His nectar at every step, bathing in His name, that bath for weary souls. Various are thy names, O Lord, in each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass. Be patient and forbearing like a tree. Take no honor to thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the toys of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for Thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is Thy servant, O sweet one. In Thy mercy, consider him as dust beneath Thy feet. Ah, how I long for the day when an instant separation from Thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns away with its desire, and the world without Thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at Thy feet let me be, in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of Thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of Thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O Thou, who stealest the hearts of Thy devotees, do with me what Thou wilt, for Thou art my heart's beloved, Thou and Thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere. May all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, may none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous, may the virtuous reign in tranquility, may the tranquil be free from bonds, may the freed make others free. May good betide all people, may the sovereign righteously rule the earth, may all beings ever attain what is good, may the worlds be prosperous and happy, may the clouds pour in rain in time, may the earth be blessed with crops, may all countries be freed from calamity, may holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied, for He being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.